For a while. Oh man, is it impressive. Super, super, super impressive. That movie's going to make all the money. But it's important when situations like this come forward, when a literal comic book vision of what a human being should look like, would look like, not should, but would look like, it can chip at the heart of us in many ways, making us feel lackluster, making us feel as if we don't somehow measure up because we don't mirror the images we see on the screen. Now, we tell ourselves many, many things, but we lie to ourselves a lot of times. How can you not be envious if you're not grounded, if you're not centered in who you are? How can you? And so this is where the mindful aspect goes. In fact, just to be an athlete, there is a token, if not an entire aspect, of your athleticism dedicated to mindfulness. For instance, the Tour de France is going on right now. Those cyclists need to not only be physically tough, but mentally tough to do the miles, the distances, the climbs, the descents. It's incredible what they're able to accomplish, because it is not just a matter of physicality. It's a matter of mentality. And we often like to separate the two. Even in Taoism and Tai Chi, there's a separation of mind, body, and breath. Or at least there's identifications of the three. But if we take one step further, Tai Chi, Taoism, Buddhism, all the isms, all the religions. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just sort of flipping through my Rolodex. That'll date me. They're all going to focus on that inner being, that inner you, that getting you right. So having that positive body image, how do we get that? How do we go there, right? One, there's a matter of realistic expectation. I know that when Chris Evans showed up on the scene as Captain America looking amazing, I wanted to emulate that. That was the thing that kicked me off to want to go back down the funnel of fitness, even though my body was broken, even though I had recognized that I had started putting on weight and all that kind of thing. There was still this matter of wanting to push through it, to fast track my way back into looking like Chris Evans. I could do that. It's just push-ups and steroids, right? Silly me. And then, trolling around, found The Rock. So many years later, after I had stopped following him in wrestling, and here he is, just super jacked. And of course, he was a super Hollywood actor and everything at that point. But he's super jacked. He's working out, and I'm seeing something more than just a big guy picking up weights and putting them down. What I'm seeing is dedication and commitment. I'm seeing what it takes to look like The Rock. Then we get to Chris Hemsworth, and it turns out he's doing the exact same thing. The exact same thing. You start to see the patterns in all the athletes and all the greats. The Williams sisters, Simone Biles, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, you name it. All right, well, let's take this a step further. Where does this go next? This is a matter of commitment and dedication and energy output in the right way to get good energy gains. Yeah. And that's where this whole thing comes into real play for our own selves. Because part of having a body positive image is understanding what certain realities of the world are that we live in. Because oftentimes we forget that language is merely a symbol. I'm not going to sit there and grab some keys and explain every time I want to talk about these keys that they are metallic objects cut in a specific way in order to be inserted into a doorknob and or deadbolt lock and or free-floating lock of some sort. You see what I'm saying? We say key, and all of that is simply understood in the word key. But then that limits us in a sense. Because if I say the key to something is, there can be a little blockage in the brain. What do you mean? What kind of key? Am I really meaning this metallic sort of opening and unlocking of this thing? Metaphorically, maybe that's in fact what I am saying. So let's talk language first. The word fat. Let's talk about it. There are 3 types of fat. There's the adjective, the biology cell, and the nutrient. Yeah, not where you thought this was going, I know. So let's get the first one out of the way, which is the adjective, to call someone fat or to make fun of someone's weight. Ladies, lovelies, and gents, this is just not on, yeah? This is just not on. Dis-ease comes in many, many ways. Hurt, traumas, be they physical, be they mental. There really is no difference. They manifest in different ways. And when I was at my most unhealthy, I simply was wearing that on my bones. If you ask anybody who's overweight, right? Anyone carrying an unhealthy weight, they're gonna, if you go deep enough into their backstory, you're going to find a broken heart, a broken life. There's a story there. There's a wound that hasn't been healed. It's so not just putting the Twinkie down. Because in food, there is comfort. There is assurance in food. Assurance that we can continue to feed ourselves. So do not think of the adjective of fat any longer. We need to maybe lose that one from the lexicon. At least as an adjective when it comes to describing biological bodies. So enough of that. On to the nutrient. So fat as a nutrient is actually a really important one to have. Fat as a nutrient helps with making your nerves work. Actually, you know what? Here's a unsponsored little look at something here. So the web app that I use, the Google app that I use, Google just came on. My Net Diary is what it's called. All right, so My Net Diary. I haven't checked in a while. I actually don't use this all that often anymore because I got used to tracking my diet and everything here, and I kind of have a good idea of what I need on a daily basis now, thanks to this one. But My Net Diary kind of looks like that. You can find it on Google Play and the iStore. This is a great app, and so what I'm bringing forward about this is, fat. I want to talk about fat. So here's the purpose of fat. We need fat for essential bodily functions and to absorb fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. Foods always contain a mixture of saturated, monosaturated, and polyunsaturated fatty acids, but will differ in the proportion of each type. Okay. To reduce risk of heart disease, consume more unsaturated fat relative to saturated fat and avoid trans fat. So, we've heard these things before. What do they mean? Basically, fat is an important part of how your body as a nutrient operates. You want this. The A, D, E, and K all serve to function, to help with your nerves, your muscles, and just your daily functioning of hormone production and all that kind of good stuff. I could be totally off. I'm not totally off, but I'm not totally accurate here. I am reading off of memory and not off of notes. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to lead you anywhere bad. What you want to do is make sure that you're getting your fat sources from good sources. Or if you're just, if you're putting butter on something, don't slather a whole bunch on, or let that be the only thing you eat that day, right? Or put it on everything you eat that day. It's perfectly fine. Put some butter on toast and have it, right? Just moderation at the end of the day. So don't think of the nutrient fat the same way you think of the adjective, and certainly don't think of it the same way as we think of the fat cell, right? So while the nutrient has all these things that it does, this is where I want you to look at fitness from a different perspective. This is our chance to explore this in a different way. And that's what fat breaks down to in the body is stored energy. If calories are gasoline and you need 2,000 calories a day, that's a little on the low side. You're a smaller person if you're getting 2,000 calories a day. At 2,000 calories a day, if you eat 2,500 calories that day, you're going to have 500 calories of extra fuel. Now, that's not a problem if the next day you have 1,500 calories and that offsets the 500 you took before. But if you continually take in 500 calories, that energy has to go somewhere. Now, here it is. That energy has to go somewhere. If we don't use that energy, the body will store it for later, and it'll store it as fat. If we do use that energy, the body will either convert what you've already eaten and turn that into energy, or it will use the fat stores in your body to fuel itself. Very important. So don't look at fat as this curse, as this thing. Don't even necessarily look at it as a body part for our purposes of fitness. For health, absolutely. But for fitness, fat is, as a molecule in your body, as a cell, is in fact what you need. And what you need is to burn more energy. So if you take in, let's say you're a U model and you need 2,000 calories a day and you're eating 2,500 calories a day, but on top of your just living, just being, you're doing a bunch of exercise. You play basketball or something like that, and you're burning 500 calories to play basketball. So you are the engine in this case, right? You're actually using the extra fuel that's coming in. So you're like gunning the engine through life. And that's fine. As we know, you can mash the gas pedal to get where you're going, and you're going to burn your gas down pretty quick. But if you don't mind the high gas prices right now, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. You can just fill up as many times as you need to, with some limitations. We're talking generally here, talking very, very generally at the beginning of one's journey. So take everything with a little bit of grain of salt. With that said, look at the fat cells of your body as simply stored energy. You didn't have a lick of fat on you when you were younger because you were more active. You were moving. You were less sedentary. You were running and playing and hopping over fences and probably getting concussions and stitches and trips to the emergency room. Yeah, childhood was, it used to be dangerous back in the day. Oh, I just said back in the day. That's like dropping cool points right there, isn't it? Anywho. So when we're thinking about fat in the body, let us think about it as energy. Now, if we want to burn more energy, we need to build up muscle. Well, this is easy. If you expend more energy, you'll build more muscle. How do you expend more energy? Well, you burn the fat. See, so the more active you get causes things to become what's called a positive feedback loop. You gain more energy as you burn more energy because you're building more framework to burn more energy. And over time, your body changes in order to fit the lifestyle that you're leading. And if you're leading an active lifestyle, I was reading an article from the BBC just this week that said, I think it was 150 minutes of moderate exercise on the weekend, just on the weekend, once a week, might be enough. That's a hike with the family. That's a quick bike ride around the neighborhood. You know, that's a nice walk for the evening, or 2 walks over the course of 2 evenings. It's not asking a lot, right? Now, if you want to look like Chris Hemsworth, you're going to have to put in the work and find the trainers and all that. And even then, after you get all that, you're still not going to look like him because you're not him. And that's okay, because we need you to be you. We need you to go on your journey. in order for you to teach us what you are here to teach us. That's what we're really after at the end of the day. That's our purpose, if we're looking for one, or if such a thing is there. What are the things that we pass on that go forward? And your understanding that your health is connected to the amount of energy you put out. Now, this comes with the caveat that you are, in fact, healthy enough and you're cleared by your doctor and all that kind of good stuff. But once you've been cleared, even if what's important once cleared is that you start small and you build your way up. It's almost like building a car from scratch. You have to put each individual piece together, and each individual piece takes time. And you have to build up from those pieces. But here's the thing. You're absolutely worth it. You absolutely are. Because through fitness, there's more than just muscles and fun clothes that come out of it. There's an understanding of you, the ability to know yourself, to know your body, to know your mind, to begin to understand that you are not a witless victim of the universe, but part of the universe acting upon itself. And as you get stronger, so too does your mind. And in that way, you can look at fat, the fat cells in your body, as that stored potential that has you, that highest you, just waiting to burn that energy off and come forward. When I think about how unhealthy I was when I was at my unhealthiest, and I think about, at least physically in my body, while the aches are still there, while the injuries still hurt, day-to-day living so much better. Being able to just get on the ground and stand back up is liberating. So don't look at fat as your enemy, because it's not. It's your energy. Forget the adjective. The adjective is no good. If you're calling yourself anything negative, forget it. If it was going to work, it would have worked already. So then let's educate ourselves on not the adjective, not the symbol, but the nutrient itself, the actual thing. Become friends with it, understand it, and then adopt it as we can. Getting healthy fats into my diet is actually the last part of my diet. I think it is. There might be one other piece. But it's the last part of my diet that I'm working on, is getting healthy fats every day in my diet with the way that everything is set up, which may require me to change some things up. Maybe I'll do something on that in the future. I don't know. But once you understand what the nutrients are, then understand what's really being stored in your body. It's not fat. It's not blubber. It's energy. Energy that if you rev your engines, you'll build muscle. As you build muscle, they'll require more energy. It's a process. True. It took me, oh my God, I started noticing I was putting on weight beginning of the 2010s. And it took until 2019, 2020 to get down to the weight that I was looking for. And then my body's still changing. It never stops. It's something that you go for because you love you. And the love for you is in there. So start very small. I started very small. I started just doing Tai Chi. And thankfully Tai Chi was fun and it was easy and it built me up slowly over time. And I grew. And I'm not saying Tai Chi is a cure-all. I'm saying your Tai Chi is out there. That thing that inspires you, the thing that will fuel your mind so it'll inspire your body. So you can use that potential that you've been storing up. Because that's all there. It's all there for you to use. Don't look at it as the enemy. Because the enemy is just a reflection of you. So as always, keep it simple. Be patient with those you come across. And most importantly, stay compassionate unto yourself. Until we meet again. This has been the ChiCast. I'm Marcus Julian Carbo. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to all of our channels. I'm going to be putting some fun Instagram stuff out as I practice, and I think I'm starting to get an understanding of what the schedule will look like going forward. So thank you all. Thank you all for joining me today. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to follow on all the socials. And hit that little bell button so when I go live, you'll be notified. And even if you can't join me then, yeah, you can catch me afterwards and we'll catch up later. Until then, peace and love.